Hello, welcome to the Blue Room. This is July 29, 2019. This is our first ever interview, and today we have Kaiya Crawford.
Hello.
So, second album. Tell me what this album's about.
This album is about a lot of things. This album is a tribute to my parents, and it's also about a lot about accountability for a lot of things I have been suppressing. And my feelings wise, I was able to execute it through the music. And just lessons I learned from my mom. Talking to her, having discussions, like just really seeking her wisdom. Coming from like a place of really desperation for wisdom and direction. I'm grateful that she was able to give me insight and remind me that I'm human and that I fuck up sometimes. Or I'm human and I'm allowed to feel certain ways. As long as I'm happy and making the best out of every situation, then everything will be all right.
And those came from conversations with your mom, or was it through different ways? Was it just
it came through, it kind of was like a domino effect. So like life was like happening, and like usually when people say that, you get what that means. Like right. Life happens, and I think I got to a really vulnerable point with my mom, because like I've never had conversations like this, like that, like deep conversations where I was actually asking for her advice. I haven't had that really with her until I started writing this album, because for some reason the spirit just moved me to ask her about her perspective, because she's been through a lot of stuff. What she had to say was like really shocking. And everything she told me about her own life and growing up and experiencing similar feelings and even similar situations was super comforting to me, because it's like, oh, well, if my mom has been through similar things, then I guess like it's not too bad. Yeah. But at the same time, like life continued to happen, and a lot of different things happened. Transitional period, like transition happening like after transition, or maybe it was just, you can count it as one big transitional period. But this album was super just a shift in my life, and I was able to document it through all the songs. That's how I feel.
Right, it's like the album starts off with her talking in the beginning. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so that conversation we had, I think that was, we went up to the cemetery for my dad's birthday, and we go up there all the time, but like that time was special because for some reason something just moved me to like record what we were talking about, and I actually asked her if I could record after I had already recorded, and she said it was cool or whatever. But right. But
of course she's gonna support you.
Yeah, and I think she kind of just figured I wanted it for my own like reflection afterwards, which really was what it started off. That voice memo really was just so like I had something to listen to my mom. Like if I couldn't talk to her on the phone or something, like I just had her voice really on my phone. And then we were just having a conversation about her dealing with her grief, being a widow, and like being a widow for like 22 years and still being in love with my dad, and like still having to move on and dealing with grief. And you know, it's like a really beautiful thing the way she sees life, despite like going through all the shit she's been through, including like losing like the love of her life. Like it's super inspiring to like hear her point of view. Like she still wants to love, like she says in the voice memo, it's called Love Authentically, which is so interesting because like if you think about that, like she has her own way of loving despite you know the world making her feel certain ways or think certain ways. She has her own way of loving, and we all do. And that conversation was kind of just me, that wisdom I was seeking.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, just had it up there in the cemetery, and it's always nice to do that.
That's awesome. I mean, she's like your Yoda, you know?
She is.
Project.
She's, yeah, totally. Totally. She totally was my Yoda. Is my Yoda.
So do you have any stories behind that album cover? Because it's kind of crazy thinking about, you know, I mean, I know the story behind the first project, and then like seeing the cover on your second project and seeing that your dad's in the background, and you know, do you have any cool stories behind that?
Okay, so I know that photo was taken Thanksgiving of 1997.
Okay.
Or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Some holiday like that, because there's a home video actually of my dad wearing the exact same outfit and my mom, so I connected that myself. I was
Right.
like, okay, so 1997. That is one of the photos I'd seen of my parents together where they actually already had kids. I'd only ever seen like younger photos of them, and that's pretty cool, whatever. But like seeing them in like parent mode, and it's kind of funny. I never really like made the correlation like of like my dad being in the background in this new album and like my mom being in the foreground. But it is kind of funny because it is like paying homage to like how my first album was just him, and now it's like my mom moving to the front kind of. And yeah, that photo I got from my aunt, I believe, and I just thought it was beautiful. I thought my mom was just looked like the big maternal energy. Like as soon as I saw that, I was like, she looks like my mom. She looks like a mother. She has this air of her, and she has this look of concern but optimism in her face. I thought it was cool. And my dad's in the background, like he looks like hella like, what the fuck? Like, and yeah, and I just thought that was so just like perfect. It's like no other way to describe it, but like perfect.
Right, and the general aesthetic is very similar between the two covers.
Yeah, I think it's cool. That photo.
It's like the film.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's a crazy story. And it's both the same year, so.
Yeah.
If you think about it.
Yeah, I don't know if the cover in the first album was from 1997. It might have been a little bit before that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, definitely a similar feel, and that nostalgia. I really want to invoke nostalgia, and appreciation of the past, because I definitely think my feelings towards the past has changed. My perspective on it has definitely changed over the course of my life. So now I want to appreciate it.
I see you have your crystal right there. I know spirituality is a big part of your life. Did that permeate through the music at all, or did that play any part in the writing process?
Yeah, I think every time I like get in the booth itself is kind of like meditative and therapeutic for me, which is like music is always like my connection to spirit, because like anybody who makes music who is passionate about this shit knows the feeling of like feeling the most safe in your art, and like feeling the most safe in what you do, and like truly being able to say the way you want to say, like say what you want to say the way you want to say it, and feeling safe in that and secure in that. And I think that in and of itself is like a connection to something bigger than you, because like if even me trying to describe it right now is hard, because I'm trying to put a word on something that is so deep, and
right.
I'm still trying to grasp it, and I think that kind of has to do with spirituality too. And I think on the album, like my homage to that is like on Fast Car, I talk about like my body being a God body, because I listen. There's this group called Oshun, and on one of their songs called Blessings on Blessings, one of the members says, "Don't you ever disrespect my God body," which is like really interesting coming from like a black woman. She's talking about her physical form. Like the song is about it really divine, has really divine tropes in it, but when she talks about don't disrespect my God body. I just thought that was really powerful, because it's like you can have as much spirit and as much good intent as you want, but still, like, whatever happens to your physical body, it still affects you, can affect you tremendously. And I feel like I've disrespected my own God body. Other people have disrespected my God body, and for a while it made me really numb and made me feel like I don't need to take care of it. But in Fast Car, it's kind of like a reminder of like feeling so out of your body, I think, with everything, feeling so overwhelmed with life that you feel out of your body. And when I say like, wait, hold up, this is a God body, it's like I house all my the things that mean the most to me. My most precious thoughts are like all contained in here, and I have to take care of this, and people have to respect this if they want it to keep going, and if I want it to keep going, you know? So I think Fast Car was kind of like my little spirituality, that part in Fast Car was kind of like my little spirituality point. But the whole process is very spiritual. Making music is very spiritual for me. It's like I feel God when I sing. I feel safe when I sing. I feel like I connect with my dad and all my other ancestors when I sing. And it's a gift, so might as well, you know.
It's beautiful.
Thank you.
And do you think that, like, spirituality plays a big role in other parts of your life? Is it, like, more so just in music, or is it
totally
your relationships? Is it with...
Totally.
You know?
I think for a long time I was afraid to, like, say that I was spiritual or say that I believed in something bigger than me, because a lot of people I've been around, should I say, didn't necessarily believe in anything.
Right.
And I'm very impressionable, and I know that, and I was kind of going along with that too, and kind of being like, yeah, this guy says it's not real, so I don't think it's real either. Plus my life is already shit, so of course there's no God, of course there's nothing. But like that, or God, or higher being, divine, whatever, however it works. I don't even know how I describe it, but
right.
I kind of just realized over time that, like, I can believe what I want to believe, and the people who really fuck with me are gonna be okay with that anyways. And I think that I never just felt safe with some of the people I was around to express that.
Right.
And that's nobody's fault. That was like, I put myself in that situation. But now I'm just, it affects my entire life, because like I think about it in a sense, like when I'm feeling down, I know I need to like feed my spirit, and I need to, because that will make me, it also holds me accountable for the things that I do, the things that I say. I try to speak with intent. I try to speak consciously, because I think that me being, having lots of ups and downs with my mental health, it causes me to feel like I'm in a daze. So of course sometimes I feel like I'm not in control of the things I think and I say, even though I am. But I think that believing in something bigger than me holds me accountable for the things I can improve on, holds me accountable for the things I'm great at, holds me accountable for the things I'm absolutely terrible at.
Right.
And it's actually really comforting, because it's like it feels like it's not just me. You know, it's something, and no matter what, it's like you're human first. Like I'm not gonna ever be some person that's just like completely perfect and great at everything. Like I'm definitely I'm human first, but I'll definitely try to be the best I can be.
Would you say you're a perfectionist at any level?
Yeah.
Or would you say you're more so just like, do you rely on feeling more than like, I guess, technicality?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Definitely. I'm definitely a more emotional person than I am a technical kind of person. And I think that just has a lot to do with being an empath. I think I'm able to read a room, the energy of a room. I'm really able to and I consider it a strength and a weakness, but mostly a strength. Being able to gauge how somebody's feeling, so I know how to talk to them, or being able to gauge how a room is, so I'm able to talk to a room.
Right.
You know, but with that, I also am susceptible to feeling more emotion because I'm picking up everybody else's emotions. So that causes it to cloud, and sometimes things don't feel real because I'm feeling all these different things, and it's hard to think logically when you're feeling so much. So yeah, it gets in the way of everything when life gets like that. But the ways I get back to that logical side is I hang out with people that are more on the logical side, and that's not saying they're emotionally out of touch. It's just they are the logical people, and I learn from them in the way that their brain works, and mainly it has a lot to do with structure and all things that I'm still trying to grasp. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, I'm definitely more of an emotional person than I am like a logical person.
It's like a yin-yang effect, so you got to keep people around and kind of like balance you out, you feel?
Yes, without a doubt. Balance is everything.
It's great. So getting back to the music, who worked on this project with you?
I worked on this with Sean Matsukawa, Ashton McCreight, Anthony Torres, or Ant Torres, and my best friend Layla did some writing with me as well, and the homie Dart. And really, like, I was thinking about this last night. Like, I wrote all those names down on a piece of paper. I was like, damn, like, we're really like the Avengers or like the Power Rangers. Like, a crazy, eclectic group of musicians that luckily, like, wanted to stick their hand in my project. And I will never not be grateful. How do you say that? I'm always grateful. Why do I have to speak in double negatives? I'm very grateful for everybody that helped me achieve the final product, because honestly I didn't know how any of the songs would end up sounding, and I think that's also really cool. Like, I like that feeling of like knowing that something is able to be adapted on by somebody else's brain. So yeah.
What do you look for in the people that you collaborate with, or the places that you know work in? What's important to you?
Having the same vision and goal. So I think the same intention should I say. Like, having, in any sense, like if we have the same intention and we still happen to make music, we're gonna make great music. Like, if we both have good intentions, or if everybody in the room has good intentions and we all make music, those are the people I want to work with. Good intention, you know? And having a similar vision, yeah, is cool, but also I've kind of learned to put that idea of having a similar vision aside, unless it's something that's just, you know, completely diverting away from, you know, something I want. But I'm more open to everybody's ideas and interpretations. I'm willing to work with anybody, really, just as long as there's like an air of we're allowed to be ourselves here, and I'm not better than you, you're not better than me, and we just, this is expression, like you not being afraid to express yourself. Like, I want to hear that deep dark shit, you know, like I want to hear it, whether it be like in a lick, in like a kick you put in an 808, like I want to feel that. So those are the kind of people I like to work with.
That's great.
Yeah. So
it's got to be similar, I guess it's like being on the same page.
Yeah.
For instance, like creatively, is it creatively more like in terms of morality? Is it?
A lot. I think all of that plays in, and I think that like morality, we can go into a morality thing, but I feel like we've already done that. I feel like everybody has their intention, like has their idea of what's moral.
Right.
And for me, it's just I like people that are human and that are flawed, but like aren't afraid to admit that they're flawed. Because I used to be one of those people, or I still am one of those people that is afraid to admit that I'm flawed, you know? Right. I'm afraid to fuck up in the middle of a session in front of a bunch of musicians that I really, really look up to.
What do you think that is? Do you think that's like an ego thing? Or do you think that's just like...
I think it plays into the perfectionism thing, and definitely it is an ego thing as well. And it's not because I need to prove that I'm better than these people, it's just I need to prove to these people that I deserve to be here. subconsciously in my head. There's some kind of thing in my brain, you know, that it's like I need to prove to these people that I deserve to be here too, that I'm a musician too. It has nothing to do with them, you know. What they've said to me, how they've felt about me, has nothing to do with that. It's just, but that's the way my brain works. But I learned to combat that with just being like, I deserve to be here. I've been doing this since I've been singing since I was talking. So since I started talking. So it's like I know I like deserve it, and it's just like humbling, putting yourself back into your body and being like, you're doing all right, and you're here for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. Go with it.
Right. You believe in yourself is important.
Yeah.
You know. Who are some of your inspirations? Like, what have you been listening to? What did you listen to growing up? Like, did that have any, you know, any role in your in the music that you made?
Growing up, I listened to a lot of different music growing up. So like, my family played a lot of Motown records, like the Temptations. Listened to a lot of the Temptations. Temptations Christmas CD specifically was on repeat in my family member's house. Reggae music. My dad was a musician and he played in a bunch of different bands, and like I think that's pretty cool. But I'm named after a Bob Marley song. My sister's name is Marley. So I kind of I love reggae music and music from like the islands, you know, like that kind of stuff really intrigues me. So that stuff inspires me a lot. I've had phases in music, you know, like in things I listen to, and I still appreciate them. I just like not as much, you know, but I pride myself on being able to appreciate a lot of different genres. I don't have a genre of music I don't like. It's very hard for me to not like a genre of music. I've tried. Can't. I like people that inspire me, people like Napalm, Hiatus Coyote, even her band.
Right.
Lauryn Hill, Alicia Keys, Adele, Amy Winehouse, like Etta James, Aretha Franklin, of course, all the divas with the big voices. Growing up in school, like I was known for my super loud. I was always loud, and a lot of the productions or musicals I was in, I didn't have to be mic'd because my voice was just naturally loud.
Right.
I've always been loud.
It's a strength.
I don't know what it is. I like to sing. I'm gonna sing loud, and it's like, but also I think my hearing is kind of messed up. Like I don't got good hearing, so I also sometimes am not aware of how loud. But that's another conversation. But I'm loud as hell. Right. I like people with really I love soulful voices. People who sing with intention.
Right.
Yeah, I'm inspired by Radiohead a lot. I think that Tom York is a genius.
What's your favorite Radiohead album?
Ooh, Amnesiac.
Okay.
Amnesiac. In Rainbows is a close second, of course. But Amnesiac. Okay, Amnesiac. In Rainbows. Okay, Computer. King of Limbs.
Why Amnesiac?
Because it's so... Okay, so I really like got into that album at a really dark time in my life. And I connected to it because for some reason the songs really just... The production told the story throughout the whole thing. And I heard Knives Out before I had listened to the entirety of the album, and it moved me to tears.
That's powerful.
Yeah. And then I read the lyrics and that moved me to tears. And then I was like, what's the bigger picture around this song?
Right.
And I listened to the whole album and it's weird as fuck. Like, Amnesiac is definitely an acquired taste. Especially if you're not used to listening to Radiohead. That's my opinion. Radiohead fans might beat me up for it. But
What number album was that by then?
I don't know. I don't know that. I'm sorry.
Do you know what year that came out? Or like around the time that it came out?
No.
Okay.
I want to say the late 90s. I want to, but I don't.
Wow.
Please,
Okay.
but please fact check me, because like I don't know that shit. I just listen to it, you know.
Right.
Like I'm not that guy, but I'm that guy, you know.
I just wonder because they have their different phases and shit. Like
Oh.
I've never been the biggest Radiohead fan. Like I never dove deep.
Mm-hmm.
Like, some of the music's really tight to me, like the music I've heard. But I've definitely heard different phases, different people have different favorite albums.
Tom York, that's just like the way he is. He's just such like an eclectic guy, and like a lot of like when I need to be inspired and really like feel something, I watch a lot of his live sessions because he still has that like, I don't know, his voice is just like I get stuck in it.
He's a character.
He's a character for sure, but he's tapped in. Like his connection to his own music is something that is just like every time he sings. And also I love that meme of him dancing on stage and they put Gasolina in the background. I also think of that when I think of Tom York.
That's the famous meme.
That's a great meme. Insert here. No, I'm just kidding.
So, tell me about, I know you grew up in Englewood. What does that mean to you? How did that play a part in your upbringing? How does your environment play an upbringing in your life?
I didn't, and I'm a piece of shit for this. I didn't pay much attention to living in Inglewood for a lot of my life because, for one thing, there's like a stigma that Inglewood is dangerous, and I think that if you're a woman identifying person anywhere, you are already susceptible to a lot of danger. But I stayed inside for most part, and when I went to play outside, it was in other neighborhoods. So growing up, I didn't really have a real connection to my neighborhood. It wasn't until I was able to start venturing out into my neighborhood without asking my grandparents for permission that I really discovered the beauty of it. And like the park down the street from my house, like I used to play there as a kid. Like me and my grandpa and my sister would play with like the frisbees, fly kites, all that shit. Like that was really fun. Growing up in Inglewood, we used to like ride our bikes on the street. I always had parental supervision because it was just like Inglewood is dangerous. And all my friends that didn't live in Inglewood, their parents would feed them these ideas of Inglewood that were like so scary. And me being young and impressionable, of course I'm gonna listen to them and be like, I don't want to play outside in Inglewood. I want to go to my homie's house in Westchester or my homie's house in Culver City because it's safe and we could play outside. And I used to be so envious of my friends because they could play outside, and why couldn't I play outside? I totally could have played outside. My neighborhood was a quiet suburb in Inglewood, but I thought about all that now, later on in life, and now I fucking love it. I think Inglewood is like the best city in LA. You have so many different cultures and so many different types of people running around and socioeconomic backgrounds, and it's so close to so many other sections of Inglewood that are also full of culture and ideas, and it's so cool.
What are your favorite food spots in Inglewood?
My favorite food spots in Inglewood: Doolin's, The Serving Spoon, M&M Soul Food. They're kind of closing them down now, but M&M Soul Food for sure. Woody's Barbecue. Ooh, their macaroni salad is so good, and their potato salad is fire too. But yeah, Woody's Barbecue, the one on La Brea by Market Street. That's the one my family goes to. Yeah.
Who are some artists that you would like to work with in the near future?
I'd like to work with Napalm from Hiatus Coyote, Willow Smith. I'd love to work with really any artist that's willing to work with me. I don't know. It's like I have a lot of them on my brain. I would love to dip my toes in a bunch of different genres, eventually. But like those are really my mains right now. I can think of at the top of my head, like people I really would love to learn things from. Let me think. I'd love to work with like a bunch of local artists like Desi Mo. She's tight as fuck. Who else? Negro Galacticus. You know, Steve is the homie. They're all the homies.
Right.
They're really like that's just like a great group of guys that are cool. I think my answer to that question though is anybody who's willing to work with me and just, you know, we can appreciate each other equally.
Right.
Equal playing field, I think. Those are just some people I can think of. There's probably a lot of other people I'm just spaced out right now. But yeah.
Cool. Well, what goals do you have for the rest of this year?
I'd like to put out some more music videos.
Okay.
I'd like to I'd like to put out more music itself, maybe like an EP. I don't know. I'm a big release person. I love putting out shit. I'd like to put out more video content for people to see like more of the process behind the way I make music, the way I write, that kind of stuff. Because that kind of stuff, I love seeing my favorite artists talk about and be in that situation. It's inspiring for me. So I'd like to put that out for other people. Go to just work with people and learn from people, really. My main goal is to work with a lot of people and to absorb their talents and turn it into lessons. Not absorb it in a bad way, but just absorb their, you know, essence and try to blend it with my own and make cool shit. That's my goal. Make cool shit with cool people.
Sweet. All right. Well, I think that concludes our interview. Thank you for coming by. You know.
Thanks for having me.
What can we expect next from Kaiya Crawford in 2019, 2020?
More music and more music videos.
Cool. Do you have anything else you want to say? Anything else you want to tell people?
Love yourself. The world is not as lonely as you think it is. I promise. Black Lives Matter. That's it.
Cool. That's a wrap.
Baby, you better move on, Hey, you better move